Okay, so here's my theory of why Lisa Rinna is so far up Erika Jayne Girardi's ass, and then I have a few other things I want to say in this video. So first of all, I want to say that Lisa Rinna introduced Erika Girardi to her business manager. Okay, so they both have him, and Lisa made that introduction. Most business managers make a percentage of the talent that they represent in entertainment, gigs. They get a percentage of that. So for me, I can only assume that when Lisa Rinna made the introduction of Erika Jayne Girardi to her business manager, that he was pretty excited because now he was going to make a percentage of everything that Erika made in her entertainment industry career, which would probably cross into music and everything else, although I don't know that, but I'm assuming. I mean, if I was Lisa, which I'm not, but if I was, I might say to my business manager, listen, I'm going to bring you this person who's going to pay you a percentage of all of her gigs that she gets. And in return for me bringing this person to you and increasing your revenue and bringing this, talent to you, I would love if I could maybe get a small percentage for like the referral. So maybe every time Erika does a job and you make a percentage of the income that she makes, maybe you could just give me a little something out of that percentage that you take as a referral fee for bringing her to you. Which means, of course, if Erika Jayne Girardi does well, then I do well. And I, of course, wouldn't want anything to happen to Erika Jayne Girardi's reputation. I would do my best. Her trucking along so she can keep booking gigs and making money because I might get a small piece of that. So we're aligned. Our interests are aligned. Aligned by way of business manager that we have in common, and aligned in that I might have worked out, again, speculative, a small percentage of Erika's earnings towards me because I referred the business manager. And so he's benefiting from having Erika on his roster. So this is my theory as to why Lisa has Erika's back so much and so far beyond any of her like longer term friends like Denise Richards and Garcelle. So I think there's an economic connection. Possible that Erika invested in Lisa Rinna's beauty lip company through her business manager coordinating it, obviously. Especially since he handles the accounting for Erika and some of her businesses. And although, I mean, there don't seem to be any books, so I don't know how that worked, but whatever. Let's just put that aside for a second. I guess it could be possible that Erika might have invested in Lisa Rinna's company. Seems like the housewives do co-promote each other and do things like that. As far as Sutton, I wanted to just quickly throw this in this video. She supposedly asked production for security to protect her against the threats of Erika, but I don't buy that. I think that's not real gossip because there's no way that Evolution would entertain that. But what is possible is that Sutton really did feel intimidated by Erika Jayne Girardi, and it kept her up at night, and she was really scared about her, and rightfully so, because Erika has like a really strange personality. As we've seen, she openly is a liar. She's openly like a master manipulator. Even the way she apologizes to Sutton on the show, she like, oh, I don't really mean it. I'm just doing this to get through the trip. Like she can lay it on thick and have like actually only an agenda, a self-interest agenda. Now, one more thing. Erika Jayne Girardi supposedly was looking for a one-bedroom apartment today, and unfortunately that was her just visiting a friend. But they are renting a one-bedroom apartment. I don't think the retaliation on Erika is going to come in that way from Tom Girardi. I think it's going to come in a different way. I also thought it was really strange on the show last night that Erika's telling this story kind of drunk about her son, Tom Zizzo, calling her. He's a cop, and he's calling her, and he's like, are you banging your neighbor, Army Hammer? and like tell me the truth. And she's like, of course not, which I think she was, but like at least, you know, maybe not like having a, you know, an affair or anything, but I think they definitely hooked up. But, and why do I think that? Because of their interest in dominatrix culture and sex, you know, high. I think they both probably belong to one of the like really expensive membership clubs that's like very sexual in nature, just because she has like a lot of references to kitten, and that's all part of that culture. But anyway, what I was going to say is that I think, if you want to learn more about sex clubs, I did a whole thing about it in the Patreon, the high like priced ones, what they're like. You've got to go watch it. It's really good. Okay, so here's the thing. He says, based on what she says, like, why are you always lying? And I'm like, why would your son say to you, why are you always lying? Especially if he's a police officer, because he knows the ramifications of calling you a liar. Which leads me to believe that Tom doesn't believe Erika either, which is very troublesome for me. I mean, now it makes the two of us.